जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारे यमुना तीरा वनचारे यमुना तीरा वनचारे जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जन रंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Guru Deva 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 Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaur Hari Bol Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivagacharya Ashtoda Sri Srimad A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Jai Om Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivagacharya Ashtoda Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Swami Thakur Maharaj Prabhupada ki jai Anant Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai Namacharya Sri Laridas Thakur ki jai Sri Rupa Shishanatan Bhadra Raghunath Sri Jiva Gopal Bhata Dasar Raghunath सद्गो स्वामी प्रभु की जय प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि घोर भक्त वृंद की जय श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गो गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड रकुन गिरि गोदान की जय ब्रजभूमि श्री वृंदावन धाम कीजिए, नवद्वीप मायापुर धाम कीजिए, जगन्नाथपुरी धाम कीजिए, अयोध्यापुरी धाम कीजिए, गंगामय जमुनामय कीजिए, श्रीमती तुलसी देवी भक्ति देवी कीजिए, सामवेद भक्त वृंद कीजिए, हरिनाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ कीजिए, ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवत महापुराण कीजिए, निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे। All glorious assembled devotees, all glorious assembled devotees, all glorious assembled devotees, all glorious, Shri Guru, Shri Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. This morning's reading is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 5th canto, chapter 1, text 40, entitled The Activities of Maharaj Priyavarta. Hare Krishna. Bahu samsthanam kirtan yena sare giri vanadhivi sima cha bhuta nirvatya dipe dipe vibhagasha भूसंस्थानम कीर्तन येना समृद्ध गिरिवनाधिभि सीमा च भूता निर्वृत्या दीपे दीपे विभागश भूसंस्थानम कीर्तन येना सरित गिरिवनाधिभि सीमा च भूता निर्वृत्या दीपे दीपे विभाग से कृतं येन हरित गिरिवनाधिभि भूता निवृत्य दीपे विभागश भूसंस्थानं कृतं येन भूता निवृत्य दीपे दीपे विभागशा भूसंस्थानं कृतं येन हृद्गिरिवनाधिभि सीमा च भूता निवृत्य दीपे दीपे विभागश. Mothers, भूसंस्थां कृतं येन सरित गिरिवनाधिभि सीमा च भूता निवृत्या दीपे दीपे विभागश भूसंस्थानं, the situation of the earth, kritam, done, yena, by whom, sarit, by rivers, giri, by hills and mountains, vana adhibi, by forests and so on, sima, boundaries, cha, also, bhuta, of different nations, nivritya, to stop fighting, dipe dipe, of the various islands, vibhagasa, separately. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivinoda Swami, Prabhupada. To stop the quarreling among different people, Maharaj Priyavrata marked boundaries at rivers and at the edge of mountains and forests so that no one would trespass upon another's property. Purport. The example set by Maharaj Priyavrata in marking of different states is still followed. As indicated herein, different classes of men are destined to live in different areas, and therefore the boundaries of various tracts of land which are described here as islands should be defined by different rivers, forests and hills. This is also mentioned in relation to Maharaj Prithu, who was born from the dead body of his father by the manipulation of great sages. Maharaj Prithu's father was very sinful, and therefore a black man called Nishad was first born from his dead body. The Nishad race was given place in the forest because by nature they are thieves and rogues. As animals are given place in the various forests and hills, men who are like animals are also destined to live there. One cannot be promoted to civilized life unless one comes to Krishna consciousness. For by nature, one is destined to live in a particular situation according to one's karma and association with the modes of nature. If men want to live in harmony and peace, they must take to Krishna consciousness, for they cannot achieve the highest standard while absorbed in the bodily concept of life. Maharaj Priyavrata divided the surface of the globe into different islands so that each class of men would live peacefully and not clash with the others. The modern idea of nationhood has gradually developed from the division made by Maharaj Priyavrata. Om Jnana Trimanandasya Jnananjana Salakaya Chakshuzunmalitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurue Namaha Vancha Kalpatrubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So it's interesting here that we are discussing about the activities of Maharaj Priyavrata. Of course, Maharaj Priyavrata is one of the great exalted devotees of the Lord, and he was instructed by none other than the great sage Sri Narada Muni. So of course, when you have an expert guide like Narada Muni, then you can never go wrong. As we all know, in our present practice, we are following mostly the standard book, Bhagavad Gita, as our guiding force. And Prabhupada cites from the Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidi prani pratena pariprashna sevaya, that you approach a bona fide spiritual master, you inquire from him, then you serve him. And then when you are serving him nicely and he's pleased by your service, then obviously he's Jnaninas Tattva Darshana, therefore he will reveal the transcendental truth to you. Every morning we practice glorifying the pure devotee, specifically Srila Prabhupada, and in the prayer of Sri Guru Vandana, we sing the prayer Sri Guru Charana Padma. And one of the lines on stanzas is that he opens my darkened eyes and fills my heart with transcendental knowledge. So this is the power of a pure devotee, the spiritual master. And of course, if you are fortunate enough to have a great spiritual master like Narada Muni, then obviously he's not going to let you down. Simply by his powerful potency invested in him by the Supreme Lord, he can guide you in the righteous path. And therefore Maharaj Priyavrata was guided very nicely by Narada Muni. But in the previous verses we learn that at some stage the Priyavrata was very dedicated in spiritual values, and then he kind of became attached to material things. And then again later on, he revived his spiritual life. So we find this is very common even today, that sometimes by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga, we get to come to Krishna consciousness by different means. Sometimes we are just innocently or just walking in the streets, and someone approaches and says, "Excuse me, you have some moment? I'd like to give you this book." Of course, I don't know if this is a practice done in India, but that's what we do in the West. We go onto the most busiest high streets and stop people in the track who are very, very busily going here, there, and everywhere, but aimlessly. We stop them and say, well, this is something which will help you. It'll give you some knowledge. It'll give you some direction. It'll give you some goal. Kindly take this book and study this book. So in this way, by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, he introduced this transcendental Sankirtan process of book distribution, whereby means we get enlivened and our eyes are open to reality. What is our real goal? And then we take to Krishna consciousness. Now when we take to Krishna consciousness, we are very much enthusiastic in the beginning because we understand that this process is the best process, and by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, in the beginning stage, you begin to relish some transcendental pleasure in the activities of Krishna consciousness. But after some time, we fall back into our own bad habits. This is generally the practice in the material world, that sometimes you become a very good person by good association, and then by the stroke of bad luck, you get some bad association, and what happens? You fall back into your old ways. As Prabhupada says the word, Purna Musika Bhava. You become a mouse again. In other words, that story of the sage and the mouse is there, is spreading to the sage that make me so powerful that I can become like a cat, so that in this mouse body I'm getting bothered by the cat all the time. I'm running here, there, we out of fear. So the sage says, okay, you become a cat. So now that the cat will not bother you because you are now of the same kind. Of course, when you become a cat, little do you know that in this material world there is always problem. Padam, padam, vipadam, adi bhotik, adi admik, adi devik, all kinds of botherations are there from the mind, from other living entities, from the natural disaster under the control of devas. So you are a cat and you are happily walking around saying, okay, no more being chased by cat anymore, not in a mouse body anymore. Then there comes along a dog, and dog is chasing you. And hey God, what happened? I got out of one situation, I'm going into another situation. So again goes back to the sage and says, hey, dog's bothering me. So, okay, he become a dog. So he becomes a dog, and now his little pride is walking the streets without any fear, saying, no more dogs. And then along comes a tiger and bothers him. So he goes back to the sage and says, hey, make me a tiger. He says, okay, you become a tiger. So as soon as he becomes a tiger, he wants to devour the sage, and he's going to attack the sage and says, Purna Musika Bhava, come back a mouse again. So that is our position, that somehow by some transcendental powers of the Supreme Lord and Kripa, that is the underlining word, Kripa, because we are all candidates of Kripa. We are not coming to the platform of Krishna consciousness on the base of our purity. We are all contaminated for lifetimes, many, many lifetimes. And when we come in contact with the pure devotee and his words, then he opens our eyes, shows us the righteous path. We come and then follow Krishna consciousness. And as I said in the beginning, it is very pleasurable, it is very exciting, and you get a lot of pleasures out of practicing the principles of Krishna consciousness. And after some times, we become complacent because we think, hey, I'm saved now. You come to the ashram, you stay in the ashram, you are trained up in the ashram activities, and then slowly and gradually your leader recommends you for Diksha, and then you go through the process, and you sit down on the Diksha ceremony, and the spiritual master says, so, what are the regular principles? Are you going to chant 16 rounds? Yes, yes, Gurudev, yes, Gurudev, everything, yes, 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 yes. Okay, so your name is such and such Das. Oh, now I am initiated. I am free from all problems now. I'm going back home. It's not that easy. Because you're making a promise, one must follow. Otherwise you fall back in your old ways. So similarly here, Priyavanta, a great exalted personality. He's not an ordinary person, because he's been given the position of the emperor of the whole world. Now, the emperor of the whole world is not an ordinary position. And in the old Vedic cultural system, When Brahma created this material world, then he established living entities in the material world, and he set up the whole system of varnashram and religious practice. And then the kings who are entrusted with the kingdom were all considered rishis. They were Raja rishis. And therefore their duty was to guide the citizens in a righteous path. But sometimes, due to some bad karma and some bad association which you carry with you, it surfaces and it drags you away. So Priyavarta was in such a condition that he kind of became more attached to materialistic life. Now very quickly he became righteous, and then of course in the further verses we will see how his activities are more and more present for enlightening the living entities. And it's interesting here that in the purport, Prabhupada citing Prithu Maharaj. Now, same with Prithu Maharaj, his father was a demoniac person. He was treating everyone very badly, to the extent that he stopped the performance of yagya. And as soon as the yagyas were stopped, what happened? The Mother Earth withdrew all her potencies which was there for sustenance. Now Mother Earth, just like we call Mother Earth, there's a reason why we call Mother. Because Mother is the one who nurtures us. After 9 months carrying in the womb, you emerge in the world, and from the very moment you emerge into this world, she is nurturing you. She's taking care of you. She's cleaning you, feeding you, and also she's your first guru, she's your first teacher, she's teaching you. We learn from the mother the art of communication. That's why we call the mother tongue, and we don't call the father tongue. Our language is called the mother tongue. Why? Because it's the mother who teaches us how to speak properly and understand and communicate. Because if we have no power of communication, what would we do? Can you imagine that you don't have any skills of communication, no language? What would you do? You would be like an animal. And does the animal have the power of speech? Yes. But not like the humans. You see the cats meowing, dogs barking, lions, tigers roaring, birds chippering away. They have power of speech. But they don't have the same communication skills as you and I have, which we are endowed. If you are hungry, you go and say, "Hey, I'm hungry. Can you feed me?" If you're tired, you say, "I want to find a place to rest. Can you show me some resting place?" If you're sick, you go to the doctor and tell the doctor, "Doctor, I'm troubled by this sickness. There's a pain here, there's pain here, and there's so many other ailments." And you describe to the doctor, and doctor says, "Okay, sit down. I'll check you out." And you communicate with doctors, and then doctor tells you, "Okay, change your diet, take this medication, and after 1 week, come back and we'll review your situation." You can communicate. But can you imagine a dog or a cat gets sick, and then the dog looks at the board and says, "Veterinarian, practice." And he walks into the veterinary and says, "Hey, Dr. Veterinarian, I'm sick. I need your help." Can the dog communicate? He cannot. So we have been given the skills to communicate. Now the interesting part here is that King Vena was a complete debauch, because he was given power. He inherited the kingdom from his father. But the point was that in the traditional Vedic cultural society, it was created by the Supreme Lord himself, was established that the kings would be the representative of the Supreme Lord, and therefore they would guide the citizens in a righteous path. And King Vena became completely nutcase, as we know in material world now today. If you get power, and they say absolute power corrupts absolutely, and if you are a very powerful person, you can become corrupt. Even the best of the best persons become corrupt when you have power. You see that, for example, nowadays, of course, due to modern media and social social sites of like Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You find videos put on this different social medias by different people. And when they take a video of a smartphone, all these facilities are there by Krishna's creation. And there is an incident, and the police comes. What is the policeman's job? The policeman's job, that when he is accepted in the police force, he takes an oath. And that oath is to maintain law and order as per the law of the country. He cannot be a law unto himself. He cannot create law by himself. But he is a keeper of the law. And how many times we see police abusing common citizens? Sometimes, of course, the police are very forceful. It is required to control the unruly crowd. So at that time, force is kind of acceptable. But other times, you are minding your own business, going on your motorbike or your car, and the police thinks, hey, next month I got to pay my child's fees, and my son is always crying, Daddy, I want a new bicycle. I want a new smartphone. My salary doesn't permit. So he goes out, blows his whistle, stop, papers. And he harasses you. Although your papers are in order, he harasses you. And then what happens? He said, look, chalan dena padega. And he gives some obnoxious amount, and he said, oh. Then, of course, we are also a little corrupt. Kuch ho sakta hai? Can we do something here? And then he says, theek hai, ek lal patti de do. Before it was hara patti, 1,000 note. Now it is red, 2,000. Ek lal patti de do, chalega. So then you, out of your situation, to be freed from further undue harassment, you just pull out and give him money. And he doesn't give you any receipt or anything, he puts in his pocket. He's harassing. Because he's got power. Now you can't do anything against him. Even though, another bystander has taken a video of this incident, and then you go to the police station and says, this police officer was harassing me unnecessarily. He is the proof. I want an FRI against him. The police officer will say, get out. Because he's also corrupt. And he says, okay, you want to, because see, they are of the same family. Policeman is policeman's brother. He will protect his fellow policeman because he's got his cut also. So his 2,000 rupees which he's got from an innocent person, he comes back and he says, this is my collection. So the officer, his head says, okay, my percentage, your percentage. Everyone cuts a slice of the cake and they're all happy and they're all making this money. Even though the government legitimately gives them a salary. So the point is that when you get power, you become corrupt. So King Vena was completely corrupt, mad by the power because he had control over all the citizens. And he stopped performing all the yagyas. Then the sages who are the upkeeper of dharma, they saw that this is not correct. Must change the situation. Because if it continues like this, then as we read from that story where we are when you read the story of Prithu Maharaj, Prabhupada is explaining that Mother Earth withheld all the bounty, gold, jewels, rubies, diamonds. And on top of that, the most precious thing, now you can live without gold, you can live without silver, rubies, diamonds, food grains, you cannot live without. And Mother Earth withdrew the potency from the land that no matter what kind of seeds you plant, it will not grow. And if you cannot grow food grains, what will happen? Very quickly, starvation comes, and then obviously through the starvation, death will come. And it will become a very uncomfortable situation for those who are living in this kind of a situation where there is starvation. Of course, we have seen even in modern day when there is droughts and pestilence, and then sometimes, you see people are suffering, especially we get a lot of things coming out of Africa, where we see the African people are struggling and suffering. They're practically, skin and bone and no flesh in the body. There's no food. And then there's the Save the Children's World and Red Cross and this cross and that cross, so many philanthropic societies trying to feed them. But nonetheless, this is what happens. So when the sages saw this happening, they, by their mystical powers, they killed King Vena. And they churned his body. And when it's churning his body, all the bad things comes out, as is mentioned, as the black person, Nisad, the Nisad tribe. And generally these are, of course, we are not condemn them, but this is fact of life, that the Aborigines who live in the deep forest, and they have no culture, they're just living like animals. And as Prabhupada mentioned in the purport here, that when you are like an animal, then Priyavarta Maharaj had created vibhagas, different lanes for different kinds of people, so that you can be happily living in that condition without disturbing others. So here, the dark person came out, and then after that, only thing that's left is purity. And then the purity comes out, and that is in the form of Prithu Maharaj. And then Prithu Maharaj is also considered as Saktivesh avatar, or empowered incarnation of the Lord, and he's empowered with the power of topmost kingship, how to rule the citizens. And it's mentioned there that at that time, Prithu Maharaj reintroduced all the wonderful yagyas, and people started performing yagyas under the guidance of Prithu Maharaj. And when they started performing yagya, the earth started giving bountiful of everything. Precious metals, precious stones, grains, fruits, everything. It was so much in abundance that there was no shortage of anything. We have also studied from the Mahabharata that when Yudhishthira Maharaj sent his 4 brothers in 4 different directions, they went to get allies from different kings. And one of them also, warfare means you need money. So they have to bring wealth. And they went to some northern kingdoms, where today we eat in polystyrene plates or paper plates, and after eating, trash it, because it's no use to anyone now. In those northern kingdoms, they were eating gold plates. And after eating in gold plate, what do? Trash it. Because there's so much. There's unlimited gold. What are you going to do? You throw one, you get a new one. And throw that one, get a new one. Just like paper plates. There's so much paper plates now, or polystyrene ones. Do we think, oh, no, I'll go and wash it and then keep it again for next use? No, we just trash it. So the gold was so much in abundance. Because Mother Earth can give, and Mother Earth can withhold. So now, of course, we are in Kali Yuga. All these precious metals and stones, everything is there, but it is so deep in the body of the earth, it takes a lot of energy to take it out. And that is why today gold has some value, diamonds have value. Otherwise, they're useless. What good is it? It's just a piece of stone. Diamond is worth a lot of money. But what is the value of diamond? It's just carbon. Why we are placing so much emphasis on a diamond? Why not place emphasis on the soul? Soul is more valuable. Because as long as the soul is there in the body, you can perform actions and activities, at least in the confinement of the material world. Unless through the process of bhakti, you become free and then you go back to the spiritual world where you are in the spiritual body, then you don't have to worry about body, because the spirit soul is the body. Of course, sometimes you say you get a spiritual body, but the spirit soul is the body. It's a spiritual body. The spirit soul has a spiritual body. It is a spiritual body. It's not like what we have understanding of this body of five material elements and a combination of that. It's pure spiritual body. Of course, we cannot understand that because we are still blinded by material vision and material concept of life. Anyway, the point is that all these things were there, and the great kings coming in the line are there to establish these facts. And as Prabhupada has mentioned here, that even modern day, we have demarcation of different countries. And so this is my country, this is your country. And of course, also at the same time, we have different kinds of people living differently in different places. And ultimately, all this is supposed to help you transcend from the material platform to the spiritual platform. As Prabhupada says that the only way you can be free is that you have to become Krishna conscious. Unless until you become Krishna conscious, then you will be under the effect of the modes of material nature. Because as long as you are in the material platform, in the material world, then the three modes of material nature are going to be prominent. They're going to influence you in every action and activity you perform. And every action and activities you perform under the three modes of material nature will be not freeing you, but binding you, further entangling you. So when we become devotees of Krishna, we are kind of trained to be free from the three modes of material nature, namely mode of ignorance, mode of passion, and mode of goodness. And unless until we rise above these things, we'll be acting on a material platform. Same thing in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says to Arjuna, "Oh Arjuna, rise above these three modes." So it's not just for Arjuna, but it's for you and me. Because we read Bhagavad Gita as our guiding force. So this instruction is there for us to rise above these three modes. Now how we can rise above these three modes is very interesting. In the bygone ages of Satya Yuga and Treta Yuga and Dwapara Yuga, there are different forms of religious practice. In the Satya Yuga, thousands and thousands of years of controlled discipline and meditation. Not like 5-minute meditation or, you go to your yoga practice class and then first for 10 minutes they make you sit down in lotus position with your hands like this and go, breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. And then you feel, wow, I'm relaxed. Then stretch your body, do all kind of stretching body exercise. And then yoga session is finished. You got to pay precious money for your yoga session. You say, wow, I've done yoga. But that is not yoga. Prabhupada describes that is fat-burning yoga. Prabhupada says that, when you go to your yoga classes and performing so-called yoga, it is just fat-burning yoga. To some extent, it may be good for little bit of your health. But beyond that, it doesn't have any good. Anyway, the point is that the yogis or disciplines of that era were for thousands of years, you would sit in very deep meditation. And even after sitting for deep meditation, slightest agitation and you can be failure in your success. We know that one famous story, that sage sitting in the river for 60,000 years meditating. Now 60,000 years is not a short time, but he's there for 60,000 and then all of a sudden, he sees two fish, and one fish, the male, is there and the female lays the eggs and the male comes and then squats the male semen on the eggs and they get fertile. Of course, it's not a gross sexual activity, but still the sage who was meditating for 60,000 years get agitated. And all this deep-rooted desire for sex life comes up. Now, after 60,000 years, one small incident and knocks you down. It's not a very successful story, is it? But anyway, there are sages who are very successful, and they did, of course, get liberation. Then, of course, coming Treta Yuga, great yagyas were performed, as we see from the yagya performed by Dasarath Maharaj. And if you read in the Ramayana, what kind of situation was required to perform that yagya, it was not an ordinary yagya. So a humongous yagya, and the yagya which is performed has to be on a land which is free from all sin. It's very difficult to find a tract of land which is free from sin. Second, you have to create a yagya kund. And in that yagya kund, you have to have a material which you put for homa. And you don't use just regular wood, sandalwood. Then pure ghee. Then grains. Now you have all these things, you're doing pretty good. Now you need a brahmana who can chant the mantras. Very difficult to find a brahmana like that. But nonetheless, in Treta Yuga, they were great brahmanas, very nicely trained in their brahmanical qualities. Then Dwarapa Yuga, worship of the Lord. In Kali Yuga, we are the most fortunate. Don't have to do anything. Of course, our lives are short, but Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has come and very freely given us a very simple process. And that process is Harinam Sankirtan Yagya. Simply chanting the holy name of the Lord. Now, simply chanting the holy name of the Lord is sufficient. Srila Prabhupada explains that if you take to the shelter of the holy name, and sincerely you chant the holy name without offense, it is enough to bring you on the transcendental platform, beyond the three modes of material nature. And when you are transcended, then you are not affected by these three modes. So you are on a very, on a platform where you won't be affected by the ongoings of the material world. But even though it's so simple, we are having difficulty. When we are chanting, what happens? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. And we are so expert now that and fashionable. We get the most fanciful beads. You go to marketplace, especially Loi Bazaar, and select the best Tulsi Mala. And when you have the best Tulsi Mala, you're so proud, hey, I've got the best Tulsi Mala. Best Tulsi Mala is not going to make you chant Hare Krishna nicely. You have nice bead bags with all these fancy decorations and embroidery and everything. It's not going to improve your chanting. Chanting is improved by two simple principles. Shravanam, Kirtanam. If your Shravanam and Kirtanam is focused, then obviously it's going to be good chanting. Doesn't matter what beads. In the early days when Srila Prabhupada introduced Krishna consciousness to the young American boys and girls, there was no Loi Bazaar in New York City that you can go down the marketplace and say, hey, I want a japa mala, and then you select different price range of japa malas. No. But that was the era of the hippies. And during the hippie era, they had these small round wooden balls or wooden beads. And they wear these big bead malas as decoration. Nothing spiritual, just it's just as a fade of the new style, some liberation from the normal social norms of the American society life. So young people, long hair and big beads, walking around, say, hey man, peace, brother. And of course, they're all drugged out. So devotees went to the market and bought these beads, brought them to Prabhupada, and Prabhupada showed them how to string them in 108 mala. And then Prabhupada taught them, this is how you chant. They started chanting. No fancy Tulsi Mala. Because I was just now in Indonesia and they asked me, how important it is to have a Tulsi Mala? Because I have a Neem Mala. I said, what's the problem? You have a Tulsi Mala or your Neem Mala? Tulsi is a pure devotee. And Neem has got special potency. Because Neem means Nimai. Connected with Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Is born under a tree. So all Neem trees are very, very potent. Why? Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was born under the tree. So the potency is there of Mahaprabhu. The potency is not in the Neem beads or the Tulsi beads. The potency is in chanting the holy name, Hare Krishna. That's where the potency is. Not in these things. So of course, as Prabhupada says, in order to be free from these things, we have to become Krishna conscious. And we are given opportunity to become Krishna conscious. And as I said, that when we first come, we get a lot of pleasure, a lot of good experiences. And you think, wow, this is good. Why? As Prabhupada explains that because we are in the blazing fire of material samsara. And then you're coming into the soothing rays of the moonlight, where it's very cooling and refreshing. Now very soon, we'll see day by day, temperature soaring higher and higher and higher. Sometimes 45, 50 degrees here in Delhi. And it's not going to be very comfortable. But then you take shelter inside a sheltered room, and you're fortunate enough that our temple here gives you a nice air condition in your room. Then you flick the switch on and you feel, relax. You don't care what's going on outside because you're in cooling air of air condition. So you're quite happy. So, same, when we come to Krishna consciousness, we are like that, it's struggling this 40, 45, 50 degree heat. Then someone takes you out of that hot temperatures, burning heat, and puts you in a nice, cool, soothing room with a nice air condition. You feel very comfortable. But then they say, Prabhu, this is very good for you. But we have decided that this air condition will be used all year round. So come December, freezing cold outside, and you're put into the room with AC on. How would you feel? Cold outside, cold inside. It's miserable, isn't it? But then you would go to the temple and say, Prabhu, I think time to switch off the AC and put on the heating system on, to make comfortable. So when we are chanting the holy name in the beginning stage, this is how it is. We feel comfortable because the environment is very nice and very conducive. But then we become complacent and we take it for granted. And then Krishna says, hey, you want to experience transcendental pleasure? You've got to become serious. You've got to be focused in the practice of Krishna consciousness, not complacent. And that is why, even after practicing for 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and sometimes I go extend, 15, 20, 30 years, and you're still struggling. Why are you struggling? Because you're complacent. You're not serious. You think that, you are in the process, you have taken shelter in Krishna consciousness, you have got a spiritual master, you have got a initiation, you are okay. And then, unfortunately, the inevitable death approaches and knocks on your door. Hello, time to go now, give up your body. And you say, wait a minute. And then the death says, but unfortunately, you're going through this door. And you're not going through this door because this door is Goloka, which is closed. You don't have the key for that. So this one is coming back again, revolving door. Have you seen those revolving doors? Especially, some airports, they have these revolving doors you go through. And then if you keep going around, in and out, in and out, in and out. That's what's going to happen to us. Even though we are chanting, because chanting is not serious. Chanting means that you have to be praying to Krishna. And if you're praying with the right mood, then of course Krishna is the most compassionate personality. He will shower his compassion upon you to take you out of this miserable condition. And he'll give you shelter. Just now when I was in Indonesia and one person asked me a question, he's saying that why sometimes we are so much enthusiastic in the practice of devotional service. And sometimes it's like, oh God, I got to do it again. No, you don't feel enthusiasm anymore. So I said, that is because you think devotional service is sense enjoyment. Sometimes you're enjoying. And other times you don't enjoy because you feel that it's a burden, it's a chore you got to perform. It's one of these things which is part and parcel of being a devotee, that you got to do it. So I said, the secret is very simple. Whatever you do, whether you're chanting, you're doing some service, whether it's deity worship, whether it's management, going on book distribution, going on Harinam, arranging festivals, whatever aspect of devotional service you do, you have to train your mind to think, is this pleasing the Supreme Lord? Is my activities pleasing the Supreme Lord? I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You're chanting Hare Krishna, is very good. But what is your motive behind chanting? If I chant Hare Krishna, I will go back to Godhead. So therefore I will chant. But what is Prabhupada teaching us in his books? We are supposed to be practicing devotional service. Chanting the holy name of the Lord is a devotional service. It is a devotional aspect. And what is devotional service as Prabhupada's definition? Anybody? No, more than that. What is the Prabhupada's definition? Uninterpreted, unmotivated, unalloyed, pure, uncontaminated. That is devotional service. So when you have motivation that I'm chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare, fired up chanting, I'm going back to Godhead, I'm chanting, I'm going back to Godhead. That is motivation. Motivation to go back to Godhead. So your chanting is not devotional. It is motivated chanting. Chanting should be done. This is for the pleasure of the Lord. Let the Lord enjoy this. And the side benefit of pleasing the Lord is that you also become pleased. Because when the Lord is pleased, Prabhupada says, when Krishna is pleased, everybody is pleased. But you are pleased, then only you are pleased and nobody else is pleased. So if you want to satisfy everyone, then satisfy Krishna. So when you're chanting, you chant and it is in the mood. I'm not doing this because of going to back to Godhead. I'm chanting this for the pleasure of the Lord. And when you chant for the pleasure of the Lord, then Lord will reciprocate you. Ye tamam prapayante. He will free you. And Prabhupada says, actually going back home, liberation is a byproduct. It's not the actual essence. Like in the summertime, you take yogurt and you churn the yogurt. And you churn the yogurt and all the butter comes out. That's the essence. That's what you want. But what do you get after churning the yogurt? You get buttermilk. Buttermilk is a byproduct. But you're not churning the yogurt for buttermilk. You're churning the yogurt for butter. It is the real essence. But then you get byproduct. And what is the byproduct? Buttermilk. Very soothing and cooling in the heat of the summer. You drink 2-3 glasses of lassi, or not lassi, but buttermilk. It will rehydrate you, it will cool you, and also there is nourishment, it will nourish you. It is a byproduct. So similarly, Prabhupada says liberation is a byproduct of bhakti. But what is bhakti? Bhakti, of course, is a Sanskrit word. In English, is devotion. And devotion is unmotivated, unalloyed, uncontaminated, pure, simply for the pleasure of the Lord. So when you develop this, then automatically the Lord is pleased. And when the Lord is pleased, you'll become pleased. And as I said, the byproduct is going back home, back to Godhead anyway. And Prabhupada says, if you are fixed in Krishna consciousness, then it doesn't matter whether you live or you die. Because living, you will serve Krishna here. When you die, the spirit soul will go into Goloka and serve Krishna there. So what is the difference between serving Krishna here and serving Krishna in Goloka? Because this is also Goloka. Why this is Goloka? No, not serve Krishna. Krishna is present here. And Prabhupada says Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. So by the mercy of the pure devotee, he invites Krishna, and Krishna says, okay, you're inviting me, I'll come. But I will only stay on one condition. If I'm served with love and devotion. So then here, Radha Parthasarathi is here. Along with them is Lalita and Vishaka. And then next door, you have Lord Ramachandra with his consort Sita, his brother Lakshman, and his great savior Hanuman. Then you come a little bit this side, you get Gonita. So here, you have the benefit of Goloka, Navadip Dham, and Ayodhya. What more do you want? So you serve nicely here, you're in the spiritual world. So Prabhupada says, temples of the Lord where the Lord is worshipped with love and devotion is Vaikuntha, spiritual world. So whether you serve in this spiritual world or you serve in their spiritual world, it's the same. But sometimes because we are conditioned, we're thinking, we have a nice temple, beautiful lordships on the altar here, and worship is nice, and everything is good, environment is nice, devotees are nice, association is nice, prasaram is nice. But Prabhu, temple president, I want to go to Vrindavan for Kartik. Temple says, well, we have Kartik here. But Kartik in Vrindavan is better. Do you think Kartik in Vrindavan is better than Kartik here? Anyone would disagree with me? Wherever you serve Krishna, it's the same. It's our mindset. Therefore, our mindset is so corrupt that we kind of think this place is better than this place. Any place where Krishna is best. And wherever you go, you carry Krishna in your heart, then you are in transcendental position. Carry Krishna in your heart. And how best to carry Krishna in your heart? Chant the holy name. You chant Hare Krishna. From the tongue, the vibration comes Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. And then this sound vibration going to the ears. And through the ears, it is connected to the heart. And then the heart is where you are. And when you hear the transcendental vibration of the holy name, Krishna is non different from his holy name. Therefore, Krishna is present in your heart in his holy name. And it's Vrindavan. You're carrying your heart, Vrindavan in your heart. What is the difficulty? Except that, we say Hare Krishna and comes here, Hare Krishna, and comes out from here and bypasses the heart. There's a very interesting thing someone sent me. You take this ear and you take this ear, and you put two ears together. What do you get? What is the shape? No. Heart. So, he made an interesting analogy. He showed a picture of a person, and then he put, flip them over and put them side by side. And you can see the two ears making a beautiful heart shape and saying, this is the medium through which we can connect to the heart. And heart is where the super soul and the soul are. So, Savanam. And Prahlad Maharaj, of course, this is his analysis of understanding of the 2 years. But Prahlad Maharaj, thousands of years ago, said, Savanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam. He already said this principle. And Prabhupada emphasizes the principle of bhakti is Sravanam. Sravanam is most important. Ears. Because ears are the path which leads to the heart. The mouth is the path which leads to the stomach. So stomach is not a very good place to be in, because you go in there, stay there for some time, and then you come out at the other end, and it's finished. So you eat a very nice paneer sabji and naan and pizza and lasagna and all these things. It's very nice out here, but when he goes inside, it changes form, and then after that when he comes out, it's no more appreciative. Can you imagine? This is a very gross example, but it will show you the grossness of this material. You take a very nice pizza, very exciting flavors of oregano and cheese and tomato and chili and all these things. And then after you've eaten that, goes in your stomach, the next morning you're in the bathroom sitting, do you think, oh God, that pizza looks good? Do you think about it? No, it's gross. So therefore, what it goes in the mouth is not very good. But what comes out is very good. What comes out of the mouth? Sound vibration. Now, of course, if good sound comes, means the holy name, then it will help you, because the holy name will revive and go to your Shavanam, ear, and from ear it will go to the heart. But if you say nonsense, then nonsense will come here and go there. And then it will go to the soul. And what will happen to all these nonsense vibration? The soul is there and it is covering and covering and covering. And one hand you're going Hare Krishna, you're taking one peel off, and then you're saying garbage and put one peel on. So the soul is never going to be free from this contamination, because you freed from few of these contaminated anarthas, and you put the anarthas back again. What is the value? So therefore, Prabhupada says, you become very serious, and one has to become Krishna conscious. And it's very simple process of becoming Krishna conscious. Is that try to train yourself that you think about Krishna 24 hours a day. And it's very easy to think about Krishna 24 hours a day if you train your mind. So I think I'm running out of time. So I will remind you, last time I was here, I gave one example. Does anyone remember that example? This activity we do every day. Without that, we would struggle and probably die of. No. Water. We all need water. Especially now, as the days are getting hotter and sweating more, you get dehydrated, you drink more and more water. What was Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita? I am the taste of water. So every time you drink water, you say, wow, Krishna. This is so beautiful, Krishna. You think Krishna. Drinking water and think Krishna. What will happen? you're thinking about Krishna. You're connecting water with Krishna. So every time you drink water, you think Krishna. Every time you see water, you think Krishna. So you think Krishna everywhere. Similarly, you train your mind in seeing Krishna everywhere, in every activity. Then it will become second nature, because it's good training. If you train yourself correctly, then it will become like a second nature. See, now we have been chanting Hare Krishna for a long time, so you put your hand in Japa Mala and then you get hold of your beads and you go Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, automatically. But you're not conscious of your chanting. But what is the Bhaktivinoda Thakur says? It is an offense to be inattentive while chanting the holy name. So we have to focus. So good focus, good chanting, good hearing, good remembrance. And then you are protected from the three modes, as Prabhupada says, that you won't be affected by these modes. You'll be transcendental. You'll be free from these modes. And therefore, you will be in a transcendental platform, always joyful and happy, and not struggling in your spiritual practice. Because most times we hear this complaint, it's a struggle, Prabhu. It's a struggle. It's not a struggle. You're doing it wrongly, that's why you're struggling. Do it rightly, you will not struggle. So on that note, I will stop here. Thank you all very much for your kind attention. Hare Krishna. So if anybody has any questions, comments, maybe one or two comments we can take. Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. It was very nice. I got to learn a lot of things. I had this question regarding you told about the story Punar Mushati Bhava. So when we come to Krishna consciousness by mercy of pure devotee, then somehow the other we come told about King Vena and Prithu Maharaj. So there are many big kings like Prithu Maharaj, Yudhishthira Maharaj, who were in position and who had power. And there other side there was King Vena, who was also in position. Power corrupted him. Similarly, this brahmacharya and all these things, these are also positions. So how to become serious, keep simple, and not to become attached, and not to become corrupted. So
very simple. This is given to us, the secret, by Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu has given a transcendental secret in his Shastikam prayers. Trinadapi sunijana, tarorapi sunijana, amanina manidena kirtana sada. If you can put this into practice, then you can become completely free from all position or designation of positions. No matter how big a devotee you are, how greater service you may be rendering, that is because the Lord has empowered you to do great service. But that doesn't mean that I think, I see, so you guys are not doing as much as I am doing. I'm doing great service. What will happen? You'll get puffed up. And the balloon, you blow more and more air in the balloon, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then got poof, blown. That's what happens to us. Our ego gets bigger, 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 and then we have a big fall down. And I say, well, Prabhu, last time I came, that devotee was so fired up, he was doing so much service, what happened? Sad news, he blooped. Because Krishna takes away and then puts you back into the material pool and says, hey, get back in there. So we are like coal. What is a coal? It's carbon also. So the guru, the spiritual master, picks us up from the material coal pit and he polishes us, makes us into a rare gem, a diamond. Diamond is also called carbon, but it is valuable. I give you one whole sack full of coal and I say, it's one precious diamond, 20 carat diamond. Which is more valuable, 20 carat diamond or one sack of coal? So, when we are taken out of this coal pit, means this material pool, then the spiritual master purifies us and he guides us, instructs us, and makes us into a rare gem. But if you do not maintain the instructions and guidance given by the spiritual master, and of course the scriptures, then what happens? You go fall back into the material pool. Just like the balloon, it gets bigger and bigger and poof, it blows up and then you're out. Then again, you may get a second chance, but generally second chances are rare. You know, I've seen this. There's wonderful devotees, great service they have rendered, but because of their ego, and they start committing offenses, then they fall down. And after falling down, for them to come back again into the pool of devotional association of devotees, it's very difficult because the ego will not allow him to come. Because now he has to come in a humble position. Before everybody is garlanding him, giving him a seat to sit, bringing Mahaprasad, offering obeisances, and giving so much respect. And now he's just Mr. Nobody. He will have a hard time coming back. You have seen that. Many wonderful sannyasis who did tremendous service, service of great recognition. After they fall down, it's very difficult for them to come back. So we have to be careful that we don't get into Purnamusika status. We keep moving forward. And of course, from the mouse to the cat, to the dog, to the tiger, is elevation of consciousness and power in body. So we, by the process of bhakti, we become elevated in our consciousness, lower consciousness and higher consciousness, to the extent when it is described that the consciousness, by practice of bhakti, is like a rose bud, very tight when it closes, and then as it opens up, and it is full bloom. When it's a full bloom, the rose is in its full glory. The beauty of the rose, the fragrance of the rose. You take a bud and go, fragrance is in there, but it is not yet manifested. But a rose which is fully bloomed, you look at it, very nice, soft petals, colorful, looks beautiful, and very good fragrance. So the devotee is like the bud in the beginning stage. As we practice, we blossom, blossom, and blossom. And we blossom by the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. And as we are blossoming, we also develop humility. Because humility is the key. And that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, great Pandit, he did not write hundreds of books. The Lord himself, full of knowledge, Satchit Ananda, full of chit. But what did he do? He only gives 8 stanzas of Sikshastikam prayers.